Hello everyone, so I'm back with another video, and this video is part 2 of Degrees of Unsaturation. What is different with this video? So I am going to talk about halogens, specifically nitrogen and oxygen. And so if you have not seen my last video, go check that out, because I think it's easier to do these tweaks when you already know the math for a regular alkane. So go check that out and come back to this one. Assuming that you already watched the last video, let's lay down the ground rules for this video. So you know I love my mnemonics. So I think of halogens, happy. HH, right? Halogen, happy. Adding positivity. So each halogen is going to add 1 in the math. So if I have 2 bromines, I am adding 2. Plus 2 into my math. If I have 1 bromine, I'm only doing plus 1. Just making it clear. Oxygen, if you think about it, begins with an O, which looks like a 0. Literally. So I think neutral. You're not touching the formula. You're not doing anything. If you're doing anything, you're just adding 0, which again is just pointless because you're ending up with the same formula. Nitrogen, negative. So negative 1. So you subtract 1 for each nitrogen in your math. Now, if I went too quickly, don't fret. Don't worry. I am going to go over all of these examples and I'll show you different ways of drawing it. So let's get into it. So for the first formula, I have CH3COH. Again, 4 plus 0 is 4, because again, I just have 4 hydrogens. Then I plug into the number of carbons into my math. So I have 2 carbons, so 2n plus 2 is 6. Again, 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. For my drawings, I liked it because you can have, for example, an aldehyde, but you could also have an alkene with an alcohol. So I wanted to show you this because I think sometimes people limit themselves and in the way of like, they think, oh, I can only do no, you can do different ways in these drawings. Just make sure that it checks out. And what I mean by that is a ring is 1 degree of unsaturation. A double bond is 1 degree of unsaturation, and a triple bond is 2 degrees of unsaturation. So make sure that your drawing matches the number of, if you have 2 carbons, draw 2 carbons. If you have 2 oxygens or 1 oxygen, draw the number of oxygens. But also make sure that you're matching your degrees. If you have 3 degrees of unsaturation, yeah, you could probably do a triple bond and a double bond. Just make sure that whatever you're doing checks out. If you have 2 degrees of unsaturation, you could draw 2 alkenes, or you could just draw 1 alkyne. It doesn't matter as long as it checks out. So in my example, I showed you that you could even have an alcohol. You don't have to just automatically draw an aldehyde. So let's go to the next one, C4H7N. So this is where the math really matters. So 7 minus 1, again, I have 1 nitrogen, so 1 negative 1. 7 minus 1 is 6. Again, I calculate from alkane. 10 minus 6 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So for this one, I wanted to really play with it and show you different ways. So you could have an amine, y'all. You could draw 2 alkenes and have an amine. You could draw a nitrile. You could even draw a regular alkyne and have an amine at the end. The point is, I don't want to limit you. I want you to see that you have different ways of drawing these things. And I challenge you that at the end, you guys like watch the video again. But before you watch it, just grab all these formulas and try to draw them yourselves and draw them in different ways and see if we match up. Because that's really the goal of this, is to practice, right? So for the next one, C4H4Br2, again, 4 plus 2 is 6. Because I have 2 bromines, so that's why I added positive 2. If I had 1 bromine, I would only add positive 1, but I have 2, so I added 2. 10 minus 6 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So for this one, I really played with it. Again, I did 2 alkenes, and I put the bromines in different positions. You could even probably have 2 of the bromines at the end of the molecule together on the same carbon. But again, that wasn't the point of this video. It was just to show you that you could draw it in different positions. I showed that in a way with the alkyne, and I had my 2 bromines on the last carbon. But again, you have different ways of drawing it, so don't freak out if you don't see yours on this video. And again, I mentioned this in the last video. If you are really concerned about what you're drawing and you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm doing this correctly, count your carbons, count your hydrogens, your nitrogens, your oxygens, your bromines, see if they match the formula. If they are not matching the formula, either you calculated your degree of unsaturation wrong or you did not add enough. Either or, but it's an easy fix. And now for the last one, this is my favorite because I wanted to show you that, again, don't limit yourself. You can draw in many different ways. So let's do it. Again, it's oxygen, so you're adding 0. So you don't even have to do the adding 0 step. I just wanted to show you guys that you would add 0, literally. So 3 times 2 plus 2 is 8. 8 minus 6 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So now the fun part. You can draw a carboxylic acid. You can draw an ester. You can draw an alcohol with an aldehyde. See, you can draw it in many different ways. So I like this because, again, see how I have the carboxylic acid, the ester, the aldehyde. You don't have to do it in just the traditional sense of, okay, I have 2 oxygens, that's going to be automatically an ester or a carboxylic acid. You could draw it in a different way. And that was the point of showing you that the math is mathing. It checks out. If you see all of them, even with the ester, you have your 6 hydrogens because I have 2 methyls at the end. Likewise with the aldehyde, if you can see, I have 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 1 from the alcohol is 6. Again, I have my 6 hydrogens. Again, I have my 2 oxygens. And again, I have my 3 carbons. So the math really does check out. If you like this video, again, please follow, like, share, comment, and let me know. Give me feedback in the comments. And if you want more examples, also let me know. I know it's kind of a shorter video, but I wanted to show you that once you have the ground rules, it is really easy to apply. And good luck on your exams, and thanks again for watching.